Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Helmets of the World. I am Mike B, and today we're going to be taking a look at the German M40 steel helmet. I've already made a video on the M35 and the M42 variants, but I haven't had the opportunity to make a video on an original M40 as there hasn't been one in my collection until this year when a YouTube viewer was gracious enough to send me a message on my Facebook page and ask if I would be interested in purchasing this because he didn't really feel he was getting a lot out of it and it was kind of collecting dust and thought that I would appreciate it a lot. And he was correct. So now it's in my collection. I've made a couple videos on this, but this is the official Helmets of the World video. So there's really not much that's different about the M40 helmet versus the M35 other than, as you can possibly see, or you already might know, the air vents on either side, on both sides, are stamped directly into the shell and they are not a separate piece or like kind of a riveted piece. As an air vent, they're a little bit bigger, they're a little bit wider because of that. So it still retains the rolled rim, as you can see like that. The nice Stahlhelm profile is still very, very apparent. And that's really all that changed. Now, the reason they did this was because in 1940, obviously the World War II had begun. Germany invaded Poland and had invaded France. And shortly after the invasion of France, the helmet production was kind of lagging behind and there was more numbers and more demand, and they had to figure out a way to still maintain the quality, the design, and all that of the Stahlhelm, but also to speed up manufacturing so more could be produced quickly. Well, the solution was to completely eliminate the step of having an extra piece of metal, A, that needed to be manufactured on its own, and B, assembled and put in on a separate step in the helmet manufacturing process. So this actually cut quite a bit of time down, and these were produced from 1940 to 1942, respectively, and it's probably one of the most common helmet designs you're going to find on the field. So they made, I don't know the exact numbers, but they made quite a few M40s and M35s. Well, I guess they made a lot of everyone, but there are quite a few of these floating around. So you can just tell these in pictures because the M35's got the smaller, kind of more rounded air vents, and this is going to be apparent with the rolled edge. On the M42, as you know, has got the raw edge and the stamped thing like, or the stamped air vent like that, but this is an M40. So this is an Air Force helmet. This is a Luftwaffe helmet, as evident by the single decal there. The M40, they started realizing that the tricolor national decal that would usually be on this side of both Army and Air Force and Navy helmets was kind of unnecessary. It was too bright, it was very visible, and it just didn't serve any purpose. So they started discontinuing those. There's speculation whether it was, in August of 1940 or whatever, but some helmets have been found that are original that have had double decals applied past that date. Nothing's really certain. There was no official date where they stopped making or stopped putting double decals on. And then there's the same with the SS helmets. They would just have usually the single rune decal on the side on the M40, and the party decal on the left side would be absent. So most M40s that you're going to find are going to be single decals, and most M42s you're going to be finding are going to be single decals or have no decal because in 1943 they stopped that, but we're talking about the M40. So this is in pretty good shape, actually. I'll show you the liner in a second. It maintained the standard M31 style liner. It still came from size, the shell's size, I believe, 60 to 70, and this is a size 66, which I'll show you in a second. 64 and 66 are going to be your most common. And then 68 and 62 are going to be the second most, and then the 70 and the 60s are going to be very, very uncommon. But they're out there. So anyway, and then that just determines your head size. I'll make an entire video on actual German World War II helmet sizing. I actually haven't done that yet. Thank you for bearing with me on this video as I trudge through my scatterbrained and try to remember what videos to make. But yeah, that would be a good one. So we'll take this off really quick off my trusty styrofoam head. And this liner is a reproduction because if you haven't seen the videos that I made when I first got this helmet, the liner was not existent. It was literally the band, which I actually still use. I use the original band. I got new leather for it, and I got a new chin strap for it. So the band is original, the padding and the leather is a reproduction, but it is a very good one. So on the inside left-hand skirt of M35, M40, and M42 helmets, there's going to be the manufacturer date, or manufacturer code, which is going to be 1 or 2 letters. Some of them are 3, like HKL, but this one's a single one. It's Q66. So Q stands for Quist, which was one of the main manufacturers of German helmets in the Second World War, and 66 is the metric size, which is 66 centimeters in circumference, which will fit a 58 or 59 size liner, or about a 7 3/8 to 7.5 liner. Just kind of give you a little bit of a, spoiler for that video that I should make. And then on the back center of the skirt, or in the rear of the skirt, is going to be your batch number, 10407. So I have a source that has a bunch of known examples of helmets, different batch numbers. There's some consistencies that can be found of what kind of helmets, like what branch certain batches were, what kind of paint they have, what kind of liner they have. And this is consistent with being a single decal lift off a helmet in the Air Force Blue, aluminum oxide, light textured paint. So this is, in a sense, I'm just saying it's a legitimate. If you don't know how to look for, legitimate German helmet decals and stuff just on the surface, that source really does help kind of confirm that, okay, yeah, this batch, other known examples have been the same and had decals that were the same and the same kind of paint and all that stuff. So this is an authentic helmet, which is awesome. A lot of repros floating around, or a lot of fakes, a lot of original shells that people advertise as legitimate, but they're usually post-war finish M4055, which I'll make another Helmets of the World video on, that they painted up and advertised falsely to be originals. They're great for reenacting, but they're not original helmets like this. They don't usually have the, whoops, sorry, just dropped a very expensive electronic piece. God, this video is just, I'm getting back into the groove of these videos, guys. I haven't made one of these videos in about 6-7 months, so bear with me, yeah. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. Hopefully I've said all I need to say about the M40 helmets. They were used throughout the entire war, from 40 onwards they were used, and they were sold to other countries after the Second World War. Mainly Finland, and then machinery to make the M40 design was sent to Finland as well. So it's a very common version of the World War II Stahlhelm. Anyway, I guess we'll wrap the video up. Thanks for listening to me ramble about a helmet, which I love. I mean, German stuff is very... It's very sought after, very expensive, very prized. And I don't understand it. I think it's because of the German. The Stahlhelm is just the iconic bad guy helmet from the First and Second World War, from the Western, Allies' perspective, I guess. And, people don't really have that big of a passion for World War II Soviet stuff, but hey, let's get into a whole other subject. But anyway, so this stuff is very valuable and very sought after. I've always liked the German helmet design, just like everyone else has, and I'm pretty fortunate to have a few original examples in the collection. So that's really all I've got about this guy. If you got any questions, I'll try to answer them in the comments. I'm fairly knowledgeable about these, but far from an expert. So let me know if you got any questions. If you enjoyed this video, and others like that on my channel, and want to support my work and enable me to keep making really cool content, you could do so in a couple different ways. The first way is to become a Patreon supporter, the link to which is in the description. The other way is to become a channel member on YouTube by hitting the join button right below this video. Either method of support helps me out greatly and allows me to create content I wouldn't otherwise be able to afford to make, simply just funding out of pocket. Ballistic tests, range videos, and other videos using historic artifacts in an educational manner cost a lot of money to produce, but with crowdfunding it becomes a lot more easy and possible to make very neat and educational content. Another perk is $5 a month or more on either platform. Gets you access to my Discord server, which is very fun and interactive. I've learned a lot on there, and there are quite a few people on there already, which is a really good thing. And so that's pretty fun too. That's a little perk of the support. If you can't support the channel financially, I totally get that. That's not a problem. You can still support my work by giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing if you haven't already, and the best way to support the channel is to share out this video and others of mine if you think people would be able to learn from them and find it interesting. Now that we've got all that done, again, I appreciate you watching so much, and we'll see you on the next episode of Helmets of the World.